Alright, so I'm going to show you guys how to sort of label and set up your stuff for the painting project. Some things that you need to have, or you should already have, is, let me get that focused. There we go. 2 styrofoam plates, so 2. Should have a ultra-fine Sharpie and a fine Sharpie, so a thin and thick one. You should also have a small number 1 round paintbrush and a larger number 6 round paintbrush. So you can tell there's 2 different sizes, but you need 1 of each. And then you should also have a Ziploc bag. Okay? So first thing I want you guys to do is on the Ziploc bag, okay, I want you to grab your thick Sharpie. Okay, so grab your Ziploc bag and your thick Sharpie. If your Sharpie ends up not working, share with somebody else at your table. What I want you guys to do is I want you to put your first and last name just right there on that label. And then you want to put your class period on there. Okay, I'm not going to put a class period there just because I teach so many other classes. I don't want to confuse anyone, but you do need to put your class period on that. Okay? So first and last name. That way we know who it belongs to. Now go ahead and set that kind of aside. I want you to grab your plates now. And you still have, again, I still want you to have that thick Sharpie. Okay? So you have 2 plates, okay? What we're going to do, these are going to be our palettes, but we're also going to use, one of them as a palette, and you actually might use the second one as a palette too. But the second one is more or less a cover for that palette. So what you're going to do is you're going to put them on each other like this, okay? So flip them over so one is on top of the other, like a lid. And what you can do is you're going to take that masking tape at your table and you're going to actually use it to kind of keep that lid on. All you need is like 2 pieces of tape. You don't need a lot. But that's how we're going to keep that closed. And then whenever you come in and you're ready to paint, basically what you're going to do is you're going to take this off, open that up, and it's going to act like kind of a hinge on the other side. So you can open it up. Okay? So again, 2 plates kind of stuck together like this. So I'll give you a minute to do that, get the tape on, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with the Sharpie. Alright, next step, after you get them taped together, again, kind of look like this, one just right on top of the other. One is going to serve as like a cover, the other one is going to be kind of your palette. But I will say, as we get closer to the end of this painting project, a lot of kids do find that they need a little bit more room and end up using that lid as a palette, and that's fine, that's fine. So what I want you to do is just kind of sit down on your table, and I want you to label this, again, on the top, with that big Sharpie, first and last name, and I want you to write really big, top. So we know that that's the top of our palette. Okay? Now, last year, we did not do that, and what happened is that a lot of kids, after they put that lid on, couldn't remember which palette was holding all their paint or not, so sometimes they put it in their bag, put it away upside down, and then all their paint fell from one plate to the other. So I'm hoping that by labeling the top, that will prevent that problem. So go ahead and label the top of the plate. It doesn't matter which one you choose, because right now we don't have any paint in it. Give you guys a minute to do that, and then we'll move on. Alright, the next step, guys, and you can go ahead, okay, now that your palette's done, and you've got your name on your Ziploc bag, you can open this up, and we're going to put our plate inside there. So this is where we're going to keep it at the end of every day. Now, if you've ever worked with acrylic paint, you know that acrylic paint Once it dries, you can no longer use it. It's not like you can add water to it and bring it back to life. It just doesn't happen. So once it's dry, it's done. So what we do is we put the palette in a Ziploc bag and we close it up at the end of the day. A lot of times that paint is still wet the next day we come in to work. But a lot of times, again, it does dry. But this is just a way to kind of hold all our materials in one place, which is the bag. So I'm going to set this off to the side. Now what you guys need are your brushes, your thin Sharpie, so not the thick one, the thin one, and you need masking tape at your table. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to label these brushes. You guys are going to be able to keep these brushes during the duration of this painting project, so it's going to be your responsibility to take care of them and to keep track of them. Okay? So I'm going to show you guys how to label this, because sometimes what happens is when we're cleaning our brushes at the sink, sometimes people leave them at the sink, and if they're labeled, I know who to return them to. So what I want you guys to do is take a piece of tape, and I want you to put that tape, we're going to kind of make like a little flag at the end. Just like that. Okay? Do that for each brush. I'm going to do that for the other one. And again, just at the very end of the brush. Now, if you're somebody who just can't handle these uneven edges like me, I'm going to use a pair of scissors and just cut the edge. If you want to, you're more than welcome to grab a pair of scissors out of the drawer and trim that if you wish. Not a requirement. Alright, so we have both brushes have a flag on them. Now what I want you guys to do is to label it. Now because the tape is a little small, it might be hard to write your whole name on this, so if you want to, you can label it just with your initials if you want to. And then also your class period. But if you happen to have a shorter last name like I do, it might fit on there. Again, you can label that whichever way works best for you. Okay? So it'll look like that. And then after you're finished, you guys can put the brushes in your plastic bag. Now if you guys notice, a lot of these brushes have these like plastic covers on them. That's to protect the brush head from getting bent. These do get lost often because they're just easy to fall. They just kind of fall off, and they're clear, then it's hard to see them on the floor. So you need to make sure, if it's important to you that you keep these to protect your brushes when they're in the bag, I always recommend keeping these little caps in the bag while you're working on your project. So I'm just going to put these in here like this, off to the side of the palette. And this is essentially your equipment for this project. Okay, so that's all your painting supplies. I'll be giving you some canvas later, right before we start the actual painting. Alright? That's how you do that.